welcome back to the shop. It's good to see you again. As you've probably just noticed, I've got power. So I've got a consumer unit on the wall. Also, all of the trunking is finished. And finally, if you want to see how I managed to do this, because it was a struggle, this has arrived and it's at the end of the video. So I'll see you after the tigers. As you can see, it takes a long time to wire these things up. Once you've done one channel though, one effective circuit, then it's just a rinse and repeat for all 12 of them. So although it is a bit of a pain, it's not that complicated once you've got your mind through it. The lights have just gone out for a very good reason. If you look carefully at this, and I'll show you a close-up in a second, the last connector block I'd actually put in upside down. So there you go. You can see when I was fiddling around inside there, I managed to short the live and neutral. Thankfully it's a protected circuit, so it just took the power out briefly. Although it's not plugged in, I will use my insulated screwdriver, or semi-insulated screwdriver. Right, let me explain what's gone on here. And then you'll see what I've got wrong. Firstly, all of the lighting circuits come in, so the supply comes in as the very top, and then that's daisy chained through loops either side to all of the connections on this side. So supply goes out to each of these 3D printed housings that hold these little Sonoff 4 RMs. They are called Sonoff Mini R4M, and they're in each one of these 12 housings. So the supply comes in and goes to all of them. Neutral comes in and goes to all of them. The outputs, the neutral goes to all of those, and the supply is from the switched out on these Sonoffs. So basically they're just a Wi-Fi switch. They're also wired up through this umbilical to the front panel where all of the push buttons are on, and there's LED indicators on all of the push buttons. So when you push a button, as soon as it's made the connection and turned the light circuit on, the LED comes on as well. So that works quite well. The main lights, which are through this absolute mess up the top here, will come into the top circuit. The next circuit down is blank, and that was my mistake. I should actually have put the path lights into the next circuit. So all of these cables, these outgoing lighting circuits, need to move up one unit. So I'll have to do that off camera. Next problem is Sonoff 12 doesn't work. I've broken it. So I'm just leaving it in there as a placeholder, if you like, because I didn't want any loose wiring hanging around. I'll order a new one. That leads me to my next problem, in that I was going to use one of those for this switch here, which is the emergency, the start switch. And so in an emergency, you can say to your voice operated smart assistant, "Hey Tina, turn the workshop power off," and it would turn off the contactor that drives all the workshop. That's going to be done through another one of these little Sonoff Mini 4s, and I haven't got enough, so I need to order 2 more. And the other thing I found is that you can't do a dry switch to these things, so you have to connect them to a contactor or a relay. So I need to order that as well. So that's in process. I can, however, get all my wiring done and just add that last little bit when the parts arrive. So that's not a problem. I bought a label printer recently, and I have to say that labelling everything up is a real boon, because I might not go in here for 10 years, and it's very useful to work out what you did. There we go. Right, I will incorporate that. No, I won't. I'm going to leave it as a separate. Yeah, definitely going to leave it separate. I'll include it with the harness for that. There we go. Lovely. It's important with a panel like this to ground it. My workshop is always full of detritus. Labelled up on the inside, all over. Added the house lights in here. So don't even know if I can get the door shut. Hey, look at that. Let's try it. House lights. Fantastic. Excellent. Let's go through and do the others. That's fence lights, path lights. Yeah, I've just seen them come off. On. That's the floodlight at the front. That's the rear lights. The other two, they're going to be two outside sources. Let's put them all on. Oh, that one's broken, of course. All of my old workshop here is going to come out. We're doing some work on the house, and this eventually will be a bedroom. So for simplicity, I thought I'll just drill holes through the old cabinets and lay this new heavy-duty cable on the floor until I've got time to strip it all out, dig a trench, bury it, and take it to the consumer unit. And this is why I'm not allowed good cameras. You may ask yourself why I'm not bothering to screw these face plates on. and that's because they need to be tested. I'm not qualified to sign my own work off, so I've got an electrician, Dan, who's coming in to fit my consumer unit and also test all of the wiring that I've done. So I'm saving time by not screwing them in, because I'll only have to unscrew them so that you can inspect them and test them anyway. So there's method in this madness. Anyway, I'll get on with the rest of them. Do you know, as I get older and fatter, I'm never getting in here to do any changes in the wiring in this thing. You look how tricky it is to get in here. It's a good job I'm built like a racing snake, eh? Who am I kidding? A big shout out to Dan, who came around and fitted my consumer unit and tested my electrical circuits. I thought it looked really good. Very neat job. Well done. Cheers, Dan. Right, here we go. Last look in this cabinet before I seal it up. Supply comes in at the top through these two connectors with a earth bar down the side. It's then distributed to all of these Sonoff Mini 4R M's that are in 3D printed housings. As you can see, I'm only using a few of them at the moment, but I've got some plans for expansion to down here. All the outgoing circuits go through these terminal blocks, and you can see they're all marked as the inside lights, path lights, rear lights, floodlights, fence, etc. It's all marked up nicely. Down the bottom here, there's another Sonoff device and a small contactor and another connector block. So I'll show you what that is on the outside. If to turn the power on in the workshop, you have to arm it, and you can hear the relay has just clicked over. Then you have to hit the start button. Then the big relay in the consumer unit turns on. Now we're live. To turn it off, you can either hit an e-stop, any one of the e-stops around the building, or turn the arm button off. So I can, once I've got my smart speaker involved sorted out, I'll be able to talk to it and turn the power on or off remotely, or arm it remotely, but turn it off remotely, which I think could be quite useful. Anyway, here we go. There we are. I'll seal this up. Time for a musical trunking montage, I feel. And so we move on to the lathe. This gave me sleepless nights, to be perfectly honest. I had no idea how the hell I was going to move it. It's about 150 kilos. So it's not a lightweight, although it's not particularly heavy in lathe terms, but it's just an awkward pig. And if it falls over, it can damage itself. So I was really, really careful. I didn't want to damage it. Right, splash guard has got to come off. I was told many years ago that the way the professionals move a lathe is to put a bar in between the chuck and the tailstock and just pick them up and walk off with them. Well, I thought, I'm not completely convinced because of the load you're putting on the bearings, but in all honesty, it did work like this. And what you can't see from this video is I turned down a section of the bar before I disconnected the lathe so that the lifting shackle can't slide. So the lathe can't slide to one end and drop on the floor. I think I'm going to repaint this chip tray and the cabinets underneath and also the doors because it's in a pretty shabby state, to be perfectly honest, and it's got overspray from stuff I've done over the years.
Oh, that's heavy. That is heavy.
It would be really good to replace this single phase bi-directional motor with a 3-phase version, but I've always fought shy of it because I thought the lathe is a good machine, but it's not great by any stretch, and I did wonder whether it would be better to replace the lathe with something that's altogether more beefier, but looks like I might be stuck with it for a few years, so it might well be worth the investment. You've just seen me strip off as much of the extraneous weight that I can get off this machine so that it becomes just so much easier and lighter to move. And if it did fall over, it would give itself less damage. So at the moment, you can see I'm just cleaning all the crap off the splash guard and under cabinets. My first thoughts with shifting this lathe was to put it on the engine hoist and push it down suspended by the engine hoist, and I thought, hang on, I've got these this big bit of 18mm ply and some casters, so I thought I'll make a skateboard. That might be easier, and in the end that turned out to be honest, the best way that I could move it by myself. What you can't quite see here is that I've actually bolted the lathe to the piece of ply. If you look at the feet on a lathe, they're really quite small. So I thought anything that's going to give me a bit more lateral stability has got to be good. So hence this skateboard, I thought in the end was actually a cracking idea. Well, that was a struggle, I can tell you. I had sleepless nights worried about how to get this lathe down here. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you got this far, it's always good. And please like and subscribe. It does help my channel grow a little bit. So hopefully next time we'll get this lathe on its stand and actually get it leveled. So that's going to be a bit of a challenge, I feel. Anyway, take care, look after yourselves, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Oh, one thing I forgot to do. How's that?